from the vault, high atop the pastoral center of the Diocese of Camden, you're listening to Talking Catholic.
Hi everybody, and welcome to another edition of Talking Catholic. I'm Jen Morrow, and I have my voice back, so that's a good thing. And with me is Mike Walsh, which is also a good thing, I guess.
No, it's the thing.
It's a thing. It's a thing.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well said. Yes, you finally sound like a normal human again. So congratulations on finally, snapping whatever mysterious disease you had.
Thank you. I still have my cough, so I will lean away from the microwave. I'll also lean away from that.
How long did that last?
41 seconds.
41 seconds. All right, made it in.
Microwave. Actually, maybe that's what I had. I was standing in front of the microwave too much. The microphone took off. I'm going to step away.
Okay, listen, I have so many comments right now, and I'm going to let them all go.
Okay, good.
I'm going to let them all go. For the sake of the listener, I'm going to let them all go.
Yeah.
So we are recording this a little early. We're actually recording this before Lent begins, but this episode is going to come out the first week of Lent. And we're very excited about that because Lent is one of my favorite times on the liturgical year. It's an opportunity for, refocusing on our spiritual lives, focusing on God, our place in the world, what we can be doing better, what we can, say sorry for, things of that nature. Mm-hmm. So with that in mind, have you thought about your Lenten practices yet?
Well, so it's interesting. One of the reasons I've just started thinking about Lent, there's two reasons. First is that I went to a retreat evening the other night in Princeton.
Shouldn't you have been on the last podcast where we talk all about retreats? I feel like you should have been on the last.
Maybe.
You and Carrie should have done that episode.
It was with, and I'm not a big retreat person, so I mean I am like by myself, not a group retreat and things like that, but like if you go by yourself to a retreat house for like a night or overnight or something, I'm good with that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I went to Princeton and there was this visiting priest, Father David Michael Moses. So a lot of people might recognize him because he's on Instagram and what's the one the cool kids are on? TikTok. Yep. Yeah, he's from Houston and he does music and funny things, and he was just fantastic. He did these hilarious little songs, and at the end he did a rap, did kind of a mic drop, and did the worm.
Oh boy.
And it was amazing. It was like one of the best. I've only seen 2 worms in real life, and it was outstanding. It was outstanding.
And to our listeners, if you're saying to yourself, I've never heard of this guy before, I'm pretty invested in Catholic culture. Me too, and I never heard of him either. But I did go to his TikTok and to his Instagram, and he is, as advertised, he is a youngish, I think he's about 31. Mm-hmm. He is full of energy and full cassock, really appreciates, his faith and stuff like that, and the trappings of his office, and really is into making, the Catholic Church fun and lively, but
hip.
Not taking it hip.
It was hip last night.
All right.
And everybody in there was like 50 and older, and it was hip as heck.
And that's how I know everyone was like that, because you used the word hip.
I know.
Did he have Riz? Because that's a little more current.
I don't know what that means.
Okay. I've seen his videos. He's got Riz.
I don't know what it means because I stand in front of the microwave too much.
It's shortening of charisma.
Oh.
Yes, and so Riz. I have Riz. Not a lot of people we work with have Riz, but I'm one of them.
Do I have it?
No.
I guess if I have to ask,
trying,
you don't have it.
Yeah, that's right.
Fair.
I just know I have it. Anyway, listeners, I bet you've enjoyed that little piece of education today.
Oh wait, I have more Lent stuff to talk about.
I wasn't transitioning.
Oh, okay.
What else?
Well, we're talking about Lent.
Oh, okay.
All right, so in addition to that, everybody go check that guy out. He's hilarious. But guess what we have going on at the Catholic Star Herald?
I know there's a mega edition coming out soon.
There is that. But also, we have a columnist that writes for us. If you read us online or in the paper, Sister Emily Vincent. She's an IHM, and she's down at the Villa Maria by the Sea Retreat Center. And we went out there, John Kayla tonight, to record some Lenten videos with her. They're like 1-minute clips of how to have a holy and, a holy Lent.
Oh, okay.
And they're like 1 minute tops. They're going to be on all of our social media platforms starting on March 7th.
Even on the TikToks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're very excited about it. She's great. I've already seen some of the preview episodes, and it's fantastic. She's a delight. The center, what's it called?
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty.
It's so pretty.
The Villa Maria by the Sea Retreat Center in Stone Harbor.
Yeah, it is gorgeous.
Moly.
We were talking about how for the Jubilee year we need to have a retreat specifically for communications. Mm-hmm. I know that they don't open the retreat house in the summertime. It's specific for their community. Maybe we can weasel in sometime in May. Maybe it's like right on that area where we might be able to get in there. Maybe we could invite all the communicators in South Jersey down, not just us, but like everybody. And we could have a nice retreat there, 1-day retreat there.
What do you mean by everybody?
There's lots of parish communicators. There's schools communicators. You don't want to share the space with others? You don't want to educate? You don't want to bring people to the Jubilee?
Did you not hear what I just said when I was like, I just like a retreat by myself? What if you guys go?
You're going to be
and
leading it.
I'm going to pop a tent outside on the beach.
You're not going to be receiving it. You're going to be leading it.
I definitely don't want to go.
Oh, too bad. No, I'm not leading it.
For Lent, maybe I should... I don't know.
Carrie and I talked about it. I forget if it was on the episode or before the episode, how she invites people to give presentations at Rowan Catholic Campus Ministry on a regular basis. And I have never once been invited in the, I don't know, all the times I've worked in the diocese. Nobody from them has ever invited me. And it was then that I realized, I wouldn't invite me either.
I've been invited.
I know.
You do?
Yes.
She told you?
Yes. And you should, because you're good at this stuff.
But nobody's actually reached out to me yet. They just told me in theory I'm invited.
They'll be hard up one week and they'll invite you. I mean, they'll schedule it for you.
That's good.
But I don't know. Yeah, it's great.
I show up better like that anyway. The longer you schedule things out, the less likely I am to show up.
You know what?
That's actually a true story.
That sounds about right. Yeah.
Ask anybody I've ever canceled plans with, and they'll be like, "Yeah, actually, that checks out."
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense.
Now I have a halls.
I also wanted to bring up, unrelated to anything, other than we know that at the time of this recording, the Pope has been in poor health, though hopefully on recovering. And at the time when this publishes, hopefully is, but if he isn't, I actually sat down in preparation for the next step of papal succession. I actually sat down and watched the movie Conclave. Now, I know there's a lot of... I looked at it with a very discerning eye, specific to the process. I really wasn't interested in the drama behind it, but I actually wanted to see like how accurate to the process it was.
Okay.
It's extremely accurate to the process. And even to the point where it's accurate to this current papacy, because in previous years, and for like the last 1,000 of them, the Pope would have been living in the Apostolic Palace, or the Papal Palace, but he's actually living in essentially a hotel right now, and it's actually placed in a similar hotel as the Santa Maria Hotel on the Vatican property. And so when he dies, he's up the hall from where the bishops end up being sequestered later as part of the conclave. Right. Anyway, there's a lot of weirdness that happens within it. And from what I've read, they pulled from, reporting that's been done on previous conclaves and how, the different factions of the cardinals sort of interact. But if you actually do want to get a feel for what a conclave is like from a technical standpoint, it really is pretty impressive. Now, there's the last 5 minutes of it take a left turn that nobody sees coming. But and if you want to stop before those last 5 minutes, you go right ahead. But it's on Peacock right now for free if you have Peacock as your streaming service, so you can watch it. But it was fascinating. It was actually really good from a Do you remember there was a movie called The Two Popes that came out?
Right.
I don't know. I guess it was
a couple years ago.
Yeah. Maybe 6 years ago, 5 years ago. I watched that one. It was fascinating. And then I realized that it was completely fictitious. I found out later that it was completely fictitious. It was drawn on conversations not had between the former Pope and the current Pope, but things they had said in public, and then they theorized what a conversation about them would have been like. So I found it completely engaging. And then when I found out the entire thing was made up, I was like, oh, well, that's a bummer.
Yeah.
So
disappointed.
I was a little disappointed, yeah, but it still was great and deserved all the accolades it had at the time. And I would say the acting in Conclave is outstanding. So, ignore the drama, but from a technical aspect, it's really good.
I was just talking the other day with somebody about I've never worked in Catholic press for a conclave. I worked in secular press, but both moments after JP2 and Ratzinger and then with Francis are very much ingrained in my mind because of how, especially when I was in secular, I wasn't Catholic yet. It was mysterious, and that is a beauty in itself.
Yeah, I love. I mean, I've not been I have been a part of it in the diocese, and as a professional Catholic communicator, but I was a reporter many times when it happened. But as a Catholic, I always found it fascinating. I remember in 1978 when John Paul I ascended. I remember watching on the. Yes, I'm that old.
No, you would have been like 7, right?
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. It's as clear as day.
Oh, wow.
I remember sitting on my aunt's carpet, who was not Catholic, watching the feed from Vatican City as to the white smoke coming out versus the black smoke and stuff like that. And when it happens this time, I will be just as fascinated.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's a scene in Conclave about that too, which a lot of people are questioning. So when you see that, should you see it and have any questions about it, feel free to Google it. But if you see me out, feel free to ask me about it.
Okay.
Okay.
I didn't see it, but it's interesting.
All right, that's our 10 minutes of banter. Can we bring our guests in now?
Right, you just cut that right off. We're like, and we're done.
Well, I kind of feel like the listeners are going, all right, wrap it up. Let's get to the interesting people.
In other words, are you just saying that you got tired of hearing yourself talk?
Even I run out of things interesting to say.
All right, well, I'm going to bring our guests in.
Yeah, I look forward to the shoe conversation that's going to happen in a little bit.
Okay, so who we have with us today is Nicole Keefer, who is with Vitality Catholic Healthcare Services. Welcome.
Hi, thank you.
Executive Director. And we also have Christine Willard, who is the manager of Parish-Based Senior Programs with Vitality Catholic Healthcare Services. Welcome, both of you ladies.
Thank you very much.
This is really nice. So you say, have we done a podcast with all 4 of us before, or have we not? Okay.
Yes.
Because I have no memory of it, but you guys were talking about it like it had definitely happened before, and I'm questioning. I know I've done a lot of these episodes. I forget what we're up to now. It's something like 425 or something like that. But I am a little surprised that I don't remember that. I know I've had you on individually.
We didn't leave that great of
I thought we left a pretty good impression. I remember afterwards you took our picture in the AJ Valley room and loved the picture. That's what I remember.
That's so weird.
Yeah, it was an interesting situation at that time. For sure. Yeah. It was just, I just remember.
That was cryptic.
Wait,
is
the
it
way Mike was like, we have
thing?
to get a picture. We have to stand in the right. Remember, he was like, no, this angle isn't good. No, this angle isn't good. And then afterwards, I was just like, oh, we got a picture. And he was like, you have no idea the positive feedback we have gotten back on that picture. And I was like, don't you take
nice to know.
everyone's picture? Like, is this not, is this atypical? Yeah, I don't mean to drone on about it, but it was weird. I just remember he was just so interesting with it.
All right, that's interesting.
Yeah,
but
he does.
Congratulations!
Well, thank you.
Maybe we should print them out and have y'all sign them.
It was like that awkward. That's why I was like, it was. Yeah, it was a little bit awkward. But
okay,
yes.
but in a good way.
In a good way. Yes, in a good way. Yes.
All right. Well, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Well, this time I'm using your official portraits, so enjoy that.
Aww.
Yeah,
all
sorry,
right.
guys.
We'll just sign your last ones instead.
Okay.
Okay. Well, that's fine. That will work too.
There you go. So we got you guys on the show today to talk about Vitality and maybe some new initiatives that you have or programs that are returning.
We should probably start with what is Vitality?
Good point.
What is Vitality?
That was like the firework.
Ms. Keefer, what is Vitality?
Oh, that's a great question, Mike. So Vitality Catholic Healthcare Services is one of the newer ministries in the Diocese of Camden that helps to be a health presence and implement whole body, whole spirit wellness and wholeness. It is a collaboration of ministries, a total of 6 underneath of the umbrella of Vitality. So some ministries that were already in existence in our diocese, such as hospital chaplaincy, parish nursing, and ministry for the deaf and persons with disabilities. They were out in other departments, and then Vitality, they kind of got moved under there. So those have been existing. Some newer ones we have are Stevens Ministry, Senior Ministry, our day centers, as well as care coordination. And so all of those, collaborations of ministries, what they help to do is to either connect people with services or to help bring a socialization to different people in the community. We help only those, not only, but primarily those who are disabled and the older adult population, both of which are very vulnerable populations. So we help just try to be a presence and advocacy and provide services for them. We do not do hands-on care, so I think it's a delineation that we try to kind of separate, but rather we either through care coordination connect people with services they may need already existing in their community, Or, for instance, if we talk about the Stevens ministry who is going through a transitional time in their life, Stephen ministers accompany people during different times in their life. They're not therapists, but they are a ministry that is able to help people in a, not necessarily a pastoral way, but in a way to be a supplement or, to help our pastors and our priests in the diocese so that they too can have other people who are trained. Actually, Christine Willard just went through the leadership training, and her parish is going to be onboarding that ministry very soon, Holy Trinity down in Ventnor. So we're very graciously awaiting that one. I know the parish is excited. Christine, did I miss anything? Because sometimes
No, I think in terms of. Yeah, no, you didn't. And just one thing to add is the caregiving. The caregivers of, those the seniors and those individuals with disabilities, that they're also, part of the those that we serve, in providing health and well-being resources, programs, advocacy.
And in truth, I want to counter something that Nicole said earlier. While it is true, it is one of the newest ministries of the diocese. If I'm not mistaken, it is actually celebrating its 10th anniversary this year. It was founded in 2015-ish.
It was, yes.
And you guys have now been 10 years part of the diocese.
We are. The first phone
We should have
calls.
cake or something for that to celebrate.
He always wants cake. Oh, you know what? We will, and you'll help us
I can
make
bake the cake. There you go.
So there we go.
That's
good baking.
See, this is
do that. Wow,
this is ministerial collaboration
That
at
is.
diocesan level.
Communications, baking,
Yes.
vitality. It's
So
beautiful.
our center opened. Our first calls were in December of 2015. So yes, we are approaching that mark as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least I have time to bake the cake. I
Yes,
appreciate that.
we can
That's
talk
nice.
about it. We can
All
do
right.
sampling if needed.
All right.
That's really funny.
Well, John Kalitz bought me cake decorating stuff for Christmas last year, and I've only had an opportunity to use it once. So I really am looking forward for another reason. So this will be a perfect reason.
There you go.
That is, by the way, that is an A+ Talking Catholic digression into an off-topic conversation. So good job, everybody.
Yeah. So let's talk about one of your newest ministries. I believe you started with Calls of Joy. Is that one of your newest?
We did. So Calls of Joy actually is falling underneath of senior ministry, which is what Christine oversees. So Calls of Joy is an initiative to help mitigate the problem of isolation in the community. So for those who aren't familiar, isolation has become a massive problem globally. It's not just here in the United States or in New Jersey or in the Philadelphia area. It's become a huge issue, so much so that last year the Surgeon General's warning referenced that isolation was becoming as bad as smoking, which, if for those of you who are not familiar with that, smoking puts you at much, much higher risk for every single disease that is out there. So there are many ways that you can combat isolation, but one way is to just reach out to people. And so this was actually kind of like a brainchild that Christine and I have talked about prior to my becoming executive.
I think we talked about on the first
I
podcast
think
we
there's
did.
a
We talked
possibility.
about
We did.
isolation, loneliness.
We did. We
how
talked.
see it.
Correct.
And about it so much.
Yeah.
Well, it is something that, like I do some of the marketing for Vitality, and more so in the past, less so now, because you have a great marketing team. A lot of people are doing double duty with their usual jobs and helping to market the organization. You bring principal among them, Christine. But one of the topics I bring up all the time, particularly in these colder months, now we're on our way out of it, thank God. That isolation, that loneliness of people, particularly senior citizens, is something that's really worrisome. My own parents are now, of a certain age. They're still mobile, but it's something I try to be very aware of in terms of their lives, and in my in-laws as well, and other elderly in my family, just to make sure that they actually are interacting with people on a regular basis. They actually are getting out, because it's bad. I mean, and as you've told me on multiple times, Nicole, really how people can nosedive when they're basically left alone.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's a very much needed.
And I just did a presentation actually today, and it was on fall prevention, and we were talking about you talk about the fear of falling, right? So there are social effects of that. If you're if say an elderly person or anyone falls, but elderly person more specific, then they have this fear of falling again. So what do? They say no to invitations out. They say no to things because they're worried, that like caution turns into fear, and so now they're alone more, and they're isolated, which then has that ripple effect of, physical, mental, emotional. And it just happens. And, I don't think everyone around them, even loved ones, would realize that, as much that it's happening. But then all of a sudden it just becomes that's their way of life. And,
Let me ask y'all, do you consider social media a reliable outlet for loneliness?
I do not.
I consider it a false outlet.
Yeah.
I think that it is not a very good portrayal. I think that it causes a lot more harm than good. I think that although the warning that came out was really speaking to the older adult and the disabled population, if you look globally from birth to end of life, it's really a problem, specifically with social media and isolation in like the young adult, maybe like teenager to young adult, that transition, because people show what they want to be seen on social media. They're not actual portrayals, and so I think it causes a lot of tension.
I was also thinking about, like, for those who are older, when you also can't get out anymore, but you are social media savvy, then that becomes your new outlet, which is not necessarily healthy either.
Correct.
Because it's not meeting that human connection need.
Right.
That's really what we're meant to connect, and so while you can Zoom with your family or FaceTime, and that does, so you think if you need that connection that way, but to be by yourself and then on, like Nicole said, social media, and you're looking at things that can make you feel even more anxious, or lonely, even more lonely, so it doesn't really serve a purpose.
What if you're doing it to comment, like, on lots of people's posts, or for instance, like Catholic Star Herald posts and stuff like that? What if that's your way of connecting at a certain level, particularly if there's like distance involved, things like that? I mean, I think that's great. Also, I might say, if I could offer a counterpoint, there are some of us who don't want to be around other people, and the social media is a great opportunity for us to stay in touch without actually have to being present in their lives in any way, shape, or form. And I think that that's a great benefit to certain people's psychology.
I do too. I was thinking about it. I think one of the things that spurred this conversation
was comments on Catholic Star Herald.
That was one of them, but not the main one. Is when I was telling you, I heard that David Michael Moses' father talk last night. Somebody asked him about the role of faith on social media, and he said, I look at social media as if it's not necessarily the best neighborhood, so whenever somebody of faith can get in the neighborhood and try to lift other people up, that's a good thing too. That the difficult part is not to let yourself, as the person who's trying to lift others up, not letting yourself get brought down. So that's kind of made me think of that, because
Sure. I mean, I think social media has a place and a purpose, and can be positive.
Right.
And,
that's why we developed a Talking Catholic TikTok account, was specifically to counteract a lot of the stuff, a lot of anti-faith, anti-Christian things that are out there. Because if our voice isn't part of that, then we're only doing damage to ourselves, because other people are going to fill that space. I'd actually like to do more of it. However, to your point, actually, I guess to Nicole and Christine's point, just as easily, like with any tool, it can be misused, and it can become a crutch, and it can become addictive, and all the terrible things that can happen in any element in our life that we overuse and stuff like that can certainly happen on social media. Right. But but not ChatGPT. ChatGPT is great, and we should invest in all the AI we can.
We wish it the best. We wish you the best.
To curtail on that, I guess, a little bit, Christine was talking about how it's social media doesn't have that personal interaction. So calls of joy is something that there are connection calls, isolation calls being made by many different companies and organizations in response to this isolation issue. One differentiating factor is this is a one-on-one phone call with someone who is uplifting, only to talk about joyfulness. It is a volunteer-based program. The calls are made from here in the diocese. And so it's really just to call and talk about what brought you joy this week. How are you doing? And that is a differentiating factor. A lot of people don't really get asked, how are you? And genuinely the other person is waiting to hear, and then really just try and be present. So that is one of our newer initiatives. Yes.
Yeah, and it gives someone someone who is feeling lonely or isolated, something to look forward to.
Right.
So when we all know we're planning something or we have something to look forward to, it raises your feelings and your emotions. And so I think that having that schedule, it's a scheduled call, it's in the beginning of the week, it's a great way to start the week. The person who volunteers who make the call are uplifting, and it's a win-win. Really for So
Nice.
yeah.
And then, in addition to that, one of the diocese fun, exciting exercise kind of events
Right.
down in your neck of the woods.
Yeah. So we have the Way of St. James Pilgrimage Walk. It's intergenerational walk. So the special, what's super special about this year, it's happening on April 26th in Ventnor, New Jersey. So the parish that's hosting this for us too is Holy Trinity Parish in Margate at St. James Church in Ventnor. So this is the sixth walk that we've had for this. So special this year because in this Jubilee year, we have the first pillar is prayer and pilgrimage. So this is a pilgrimage walk, and it really gives all generations the opportunity to come together, pray together in church, but also taking the walk along the boardwalk for 2.5 miles. And you don't have to. You could also be at church. We have volunteers that are there to pray and say the rosary during that time too. And then have the walk and be together, even if it's a quiet time, and just enjoy that quiet as pilgrimage, should be. And then come back, have mass and lunch together. So that fellowship, bringing it all, full circle with physical and spiritual exercise.
And I like that because you have the shell branding everything, because it's like the Camino in Spain,
yes.
right?
So it is modeled after the El Camino Santiago, and that, so bringing those pieces into it, that the shell, and at the end of the walk, that's what everyone gets, the shell and a little prayer card with that to just make that connection and the pilgrimage.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think I went to it the first year to take some photographs, but I didn't do the full pilgrimage. Maybe I'll check my calendar and see about going down there. So don't be too quick to assign a photographer to that anytime soon, because number one, I'm fat and could use the walk, and number two, it would be good for me to actually see it and walk the entire thing. Do you guys go by Lucy by any chance?
No, that's Margate. No, that's Margate.
Lucy's in Margate.
Okay, just to be clear, and I know I've said this before, anything beyond Ocean City. And I don't consider that Down Beach a real place, because I've never been. It's like Long Beach Island to me. It's like it's a place that I know exists, but I've never been there.
You've never been to LBI either?
No.
Oh wow!
But that's because I hate North Jersey.
That's not North Jersey.
That's true.
Nope.
He did that on purpose to start the debate of the Central Jersey.
First of all,
that's not Central Jersey
exist
either.
I know, because it
To
doesn't
me,
exist.
that's the Jersey Shore.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, there's a whole lot of Jersey Shore, but not all of it's in South Jersey.
I don't consider South Jersey the Jersey Shore.
Is
Do you
Asbury-
consider Atlantic City and Wildwood the Jersey Shore?
I call it.
Why wouldn't it be the Jersey Shore?
Actually, I think it's just called the shore. I think
There
they
you
took
go.
the Jersey part out.
Just get the Jersey part.
Everybody just says going to the shore.
Maybe other people not in New Jersey call it the
Correct,
Jersey Shore.
the Jersey Shore.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Whatever. Let's not get off topic.
Wildwood's not part of the shore?
To me, the Jersey Shore stops at LBI/Seaside.
What does it become?
I don't know. It's a great mystery. I haven't figured it out yet.
Just we dropped Jersey.
Again,
it's just shore.
standing in front of microwaves way too long.
I want to apologize to our listeners, because it's possible that all of us are high right now or something, because none of this makes any sense whatsoever.
Wow.
We're not.
We are not.
Okay, fine,
It's
but there's no
definitely not
explanation to
what's happening.
the last
Right.
minute and a half. That being said,
And that would be the last time.
We went from
Vitality
pilgrimage to-
Healthcare Services comes on
exactly.
the book.
the thing is that I really
Wow.
my hope is that actually I'm actually very hopeful that this year that the Way of St. James is going to be its biggest year, because it's been around for a while now, and I'm really hopeful that we'll see schools participate. I'm hoping we'll see more parishes partake. I think I think it'd be a great opportunity for the Stockton campus ministry, the Rowan campus ministry, the Rutgers campus ministry to come down and be a part of it. It's just a great opportunity, sort of to finish off. At that point, we're in the Easter season. It's really a great thing. And let's face it, we've talked about this the entire Jubilee year. about the importance of doing things together in groups on pilgrimage for a religious purpose. So, of any year, this is the year for this to be a big deal. Yeah. So I'm hopeful that people will do it. And as I say that, I'm taking out my phone so I can actually put it into my calendar.
There you go. Look, it's serendipity.
There we go. And we already have people that registered. So this week, oh yeah, they already registered. You can register online.
QR code.
Yep, you can. Yep, we have. Star Herald or the diocese shared it. It's getting into parish bulletin. We just started spreading the word, and we have more to go. But just in this short time of like a week since it first went out, like last week to the parishes, and we also reach out to everyone that participated before in the past that we have an email to. So from that, people it's an easy way to register. In fact, most of them came last year because they all have their shirts, because they all get a free shirt, and it's on the registration. Do you need shirts? And we're happy to give them to everyone. So it's nice to see people that are coming back, because that's how great it is. Yeah. That's how enriching it is, and it's nice to see that too. So I think we're going to have our biggest year, our biggest number.
And it's a nice leisurely walk, right?
It is.
Very, yes.
Nobody's breaking a sweat, right?
Nobody's breaking a sweat. We can give you a water bottle. Help you
Thank you.
along the way.
For that.
We should do a podcast from there. Yeah. On the boardwalk.
You want like a breathy version of the podcast? I'm sure the listeners love that. We'll describe it as we go along. Wait. Ventnor has a boardwalk?
Yes. And it's so nice.
Beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Is it anywhere near Lucy?
There's no stores or places to get
ice
cream.
It's in a different town. You can't help yourself.
I really can't.
But we're gonna have to ask Jen, where are you gonna be at when you're in Ventnor? Are you at the shore or are you at the Jersey Shore?
Yeah.
I'm in Ventnor.
That works.
When you go to Asbury Park, where are you?
Jersey Shore.
Okay.
Yeah. That show really did a number on this.
I will tell you.
I know.
We'll talk about that off the air, but yes. So what else is going on?
All right. Well, thank you for that plug, Mike. The Way of St. James it's a very, very beautiful day. Is the truth. It's a good. It's a good intergeneration. It's just a nice. It's pleasant. Everybody's happy. We've had many different ages. Yes. Many of the staff members will be there. Families. We recruit volunteers of all types, but family members are definitely welcomed and encouraged. And we have some of our Vitality Diocesan staff that helps out and things like that. So it's nice. And people want to know when the date is to, like you just did, put it on your calendar.
Yeah, and so, I did. That literally did happen while you guys were talking.
Good.
Oh, Nicole, is your husband Matt going to be there? I love your husband.
Matt will be there.
Matt and I will walk together. It'll be nice.
He's probably not assigned to walk, but last year,
last
year he and Jim were assigned to help with the lunches and to get the space ready.
Yeah.
Oh, man, I could sit around food. I can do that too.
No, you're gonna walk.
You're
right.
You're shooting.
Oh, that's your job.
I'll just take pictures of their husbands.
I'm going to assign you. Can I assign somebody? I want to assign.
Okay.
Wait, can I assign you to do the Catholic Star Herald photos?
Actually, I was just having a conversation with one of our colleagues today about how you keep assigning photo assignments to our freelancers and not giving them to me, and it's really cutting into my the money I make off of my travel stuff.
I'm trying to give you a break to spend time with your family.
They don't want to be anywhere near me. One's a teenager and one knows better. It's fine. Anyway, but yeah, it's a good. I really do hope people will go, and we really are trying to push some of these opportunities for life down the shore, because it's going to be short times, and this is a great way to sort of kick off the season. It's right before.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yes, it is.
Absolutely.
There's nothing bad with this, so go to it, please. People.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
And it's free.
Free. Really?
No registration.
You get free food too.
Free food,
And
coffee,
free
coffee when you register,
coffee,
and lunch.
Wow.
Yeah.
And mass, right?
And mass.
Free mass.
Free.
Yes.
Sweet.
True.
All right.
We won't even take up a collection or anything. Yeah.
Wow. No, that's going to happen. I know there's going to be a collection.
No, there won't be a collection.
Okay.
Not on our watch.
So I appreciate that.
Not on our watch.
Way to look after your people. I like that.
Yeah.
But if you want to give a free will donation, folks, feel free to. I'm sure the parish will not be upset about it. Okay, so you got that. You have other things going on as well, because did we talk about the thing coming up in March?
Oh, that
dementia?
So that's so that is we're partnering with St. Anthony,
St.
Mary Mount Carmel in Hamilton, and partnering with them to do they requested a presentation for caregivers of dementia patients. So if you are family members caring for a parent with dementia, there is, it's very different than caregiving in other ways. And so Mimi Scheibel, the head of Director of Care Coordination, is going to share that presentation, and that's happening in March. And it's a great way to get information out and support, to families and that are, as we know, multi-generational. Everyone is, a lot of people are taking care of parents, and it's not in this particular type of case. It can be very challenging. So to provide that. So that's we're sharing that on March 13th.
Oh, that's good.
At St. Anthony of Padua Church.
What day? That's a Thursday?
Yes, Thursday, March 13th. It's interesting that the pastor of Mount Carmel actually reached out to us. He identified that recently, he's had many just individuals come and say, Father, do we have any resources available? I'm taking care of my parents with dementia. And it's interesting that as soon as Christine and I started having this conversation, it's something we're all hearing a lot. The incidence of dementia and Alzheimer's has drastically increased in the past 4 or 5 years, which could have to do with post-COVID isolation. So you push people into isolation. They don't want to come out. There's a fear, et cetera. We could go on, but there has been an increase in dementia and Alzheimer's, and people don't know where to go and where to get help. So, kudos to Father for, taking that next action step. And, we're happy to have anyone in the diocese join us. It's at the St. Anthony of Padua Church on 206 in the evening at 7 p.m. And like Christine said, Mimi Scheibel, who's really, really well educated in this area, because our care coordinators frequently are helping caregivers for people who have dementia and things like that. And as Christine said, it's a different wheelhouse, but it also kind of fulfills that Jubilee of Hope, right? To try and give any kind of caregiver some hope that they are not alone is really very, very good. So so we're excited about that. We have that coming up. I think that will be imagine there's a potential that could be the first of others.
I hope so. I know that's a struggle for a lot of families, and certainly a mystery for many who haven't been touched by that in the past. So people living longer, it's more likely to occur. And like you said, there's a lot of cultural factors that didn't exist before. So it's important. It's an important topic. It's sad and it's troublesome, but I'm glad that it's an opportunity for us to educate folks. So good job. Kudos. And kudos to Father David Rivera, by the way,
correct.
for reaching out to you guys and encouraging that kind of thing. So I'm very happy to hear that.
Right.
That's good. Well done, sir.
There we go.
All right, what else we got going on this year?
So another thing that is not necessarily Vitality sponsored, although one of them will be at our day center.
I'm very excited about this because we never recorded an episode on your visit to Lourdes, did we?
No, I'm not. No, I don't think we did.
No, we didn't, and we may not. But because no, pilgrimages.
We didn't, and we're not going to. Moving on.
They can sometimes be very personal.
That's right. Pilgrimages to Lourdes are very personal experiences. So, we are always we let anybody come on the podcast, but there's lots of people that I've invited to come on the podcast who just what, this is kind of a private thing. I don't really want to share it. So I'm not suggesting that we're going to have an episode like that. But I know you and I discussed it. However, out of that came this great idea that you told me about a couple of weeks ago, and I think it's brilliant, particularly for those of us who have no intention of ever going to France or whatever. This great opportunity that you became aware of.
We did. So yes, I did go to Lourdes, France in the fall. I don't know that I will do a whole podcast, but I'm happy to maybe do a little Q&A on it. But we traveled with this group called the North American Lourdes Volunteers, and they are an organization. They're a nonprofit, and they travel specifically with people who are disabled or medically ill and might not be able to get there otherwise. The journey to Lourdes, regardless of whether you are ill, disabled, or anything, is not short. It is, there's planes, there's buses, and all types of, transportation means in there. And so we travel with this group. My husband, Matt, and my daughter, Alexis, who many people in the diocese know. We all went, and as Alexis said the first day we got there, I don't know what it is, but there's something special about this place. And it was over the next week that we realized that it touches your life very differently for many different people and in many different ways. So to that point, while we were there, we learned that this group does virtual pilgrimages here all across the United States. So my husband, Matt, actually initiated a conversation with the group while we were there to find out, what does it look like? How do you get it brought into a church, et cetera, et cetera. So he actually invited them to come to St. Joseph's Parish in Sea Isle City. Matt oversees a ministry that is part of parish nursing. It's a wellness nurse ministry, wellness ministry of nursing in Sea Isle. And he invited them to come and just do this virtual pilgrimage. And the group asked if there was any way they could connect it with more parishes in our diocese. So far we have them at 4 parishes, 1 school, potentially another school, one of our Vitality Day centers, which I'm extremely excited about. Yeah. And I already have pretty much confirmation they're going to be coming back in the fall because the response from our diocese was so great. But the day is interesting. It's not a day, actually. In speaking with the group, so these pilgrimages can be anywhere from 20 minutes if you do it with like preschool children. Apparently they've done it with as young as like little kids, to 1 and 2 hour sessions. And it really it's beautiful the way that they bring this pilgrimage to life. Have not seen it in person, but when we were on a Zoom with them recently, learning what is this about, because to me a virtual pilgrimage sounds a little, I don't know,
detached.
Yes. And so the way the person explained it to me, who I knew I had met, and she said, Nicole, remember your day in Lourdes. Your day started with this, and then it went to this, and then it went to that, and then we ended with this. And I was like, oh. And then it slowly goes through that. So they start the day by explaining what the message of Lourdes is, who St. Bernadette is and was, and how she came to the grotto, and what meaning that had, and the story, St. Bernadette's story. And then from there, and forgive me, North American Lords, if I mess this up a little bit, but I recall from there are parish volunteers, or wherever the virtual pilgrimage is going to take place, that hold pieces of the grotto. So we actually they have pieces of they have pieces of the grotto that they have brought back to the United States that travel with them to each of these. And so there's a procession in wherever you are. In this instance, the one in St. Joe's will be in a church, and some of the others, but for the day center, it'll be in the day center. For the schools, it'll be in the schools. And so everyone that is in attendance, every pilgrim, is able to process up and touch the grotto. And then afterwards, I believe, I know Eucharistic adoration is involved, which is also part of your day if you're in Lourdes, as well as they don't do any of the gesturing or things like that occur, or the piscines that occur in Lourdes, but they do have the water there, the holy water there, that you are able to come and just put your hands in and touch if you so want to. And then the day, or event rather, ends with praying the rosary. And so that too can be however you want it to be. We have 3 churches in our diocese that are having the event in the evening. So the reason I bring that up specifically is because in Lourdes, the rosary is candlelit with real candles that, yes, you absolutely can light things on fire, just in case anyone's wondering. They have not taken all kinds of safety measures. And so I know that many times the North American Lords, as they're arranging this, they'll say, if you want to get candles and your pastor's okay with it, you can have it. So yeah, it's a really beautiful experience. It's absolutely free. There's no, they just ask for maybe like a free will offering and things like that. And I'm really excited with how many of our pastors jumped on board and how many parishes, and hopefully they will continue. But yeah, so one of them will be happening at our one of our senior day centers, which we have 4 right now currently in the diocese, hopefully growing it. But this one's going to be on March 14th at 10 a.m. at Christ the Redeemer's Senior Young at Heart Club. So they are opening it up to anyone else that wants to come. They just ask that you RSVP so they can be prepared. But I think it also speaks to that hope, right? Yeah. I mean, what better way to instill hope but to bring a piece of Lourdes to the Diocese of Camden?
Yeah, and I think when this one goes out, it'll be just a few days after this recording is released. Yeah, so yes. The events start March 12th and go through what's it, the 15th? And you
Correct.
can find the individual dates on the Diocese of Camden's website. But I know one will be in Sicklerville. I think one will be in Cherry Hill. You talked about the one in Atco, one in Gibbsboro, and one in this little place. I don't know if it's at the Jersey Shore, but it's called Seattle City. We'll have to look into that, see if that's a Jersey Shore community or not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you live there or anything.
Maybe just
but
shore community.
Maybe it's just a shore community.
Just be a shore community.
Shore community, got it.
Maybe it's a South Jersey Shore community.
It could be.
I don't really know, but
It's definitely
yes.
in Cape May County. I do know that. But yeah, so that'll be one of them. And by the way, if you've never been to the one in Seattle, it's a beautiful church. So it's a great place to go. They're all beautiful churches. But as we're getting closer to the summertime, it's funny. I was forced to watch these videos of this slightly over-the-top priest today. And one of the videos I watched was on whether or not when you go on vacation, whether or not you are obligated to go to Mass. And he makes a great point that I agree with. Yes, vacation does not mean that you don't get to go to Mass. Unless you are, as he put it, unless you're out in the wilderness and there is no church around, then no, you do not need to go to Mass. But if you are vacationing at any of our beautiful Jersey Shore communities, I guarantee you there are many beautiful churches on that island or islands of which you can avail yourself of, and you should do it. It actually, if you are, and he puts it as a great line, I will say, this guy's nuts, but it's a great line. If you are vacationing from God, something is wrong with your faith. So. You need to look inward at that point. So, and I've certainly been on vacations where I was not able to make it to a church, but it wasn't for lack of trying. It was because we were traveling that day or something like that. So yeah. So as we are focusing so much on the Jersey Shore on this episode, if you've rented a house down there, go please to Mass while you're down there. And by the way, they have daily Mass too, so you can go any day. It's really great. And get this, they have confession too. You might be inspired to go to confession. That's something. Nicole and I have regular conversations, and one of the things she talks to me about from time to time is confession. And
Mike,
what's up?
By chance, is your Lenten pilgrimage going to be about evangelization? Because I feel as though potentially it could. You seem to be really,
I'm currently in a state of annoyance. I'm in my pre-Lenten state of annoyance of people not doing enough with their faith. And as we migrate into, so we're recording now before Lent, you're listening during Lent, but I'm sort of gearing up for my Lenten practice of encouraging people to get back to Mass and focus on their faith. So as you're listening to this, know that that's where I am mentally right now. So I get quite irritated by that video I was forced to watch against my will. Really set something off in me. Because it's like... What? It did, yeah.
Why?
Because the mere thought of someone going on vacation and not going to Mass and considering a vacation from their faith, that really resonated with me. That's an irritating thing to hear. Like I can conceptualize it. I just can't imagine anyone saying, "Oh man, I'm on vacation. I'm not going to Mass."
Wow, you feel passionate about that's a mini rant. You really do feel passionate.
I do feel passionate about that.
All right.
Listen, if you're not going to go to church because you're questioning your faith, that I understand.
Yeah.
But if you're not going to church because come on, I'm on vacation. I only brought shorts with me. I don't have my church gear with me. Man, those become church shorts. Walk in with your church shorts.
Hey, that's the beauty of being on vacation. You can go. You can just go because that's the way you.
Right. Have you been to Mass at the shore? Because people wear just about everything.
Your church tank tops, your church shorts, your church flip flops, your church Crocs.
Correct.
I've never seen a bathing suit.
I've seen bathing suits with cover-ups.
with cover-ups.
Sand. Yeah.
I've been to Hawaii and been to, well, this isn't really shocking, but I've been to Hawaii and been to Mass, and it was this beautiful church that it was actually first time I'd ever been to a Mass in the round. And it blew my mind, but it was really cool. It was like, oh, this is awesome. And that's the other thing, is when you're vacationing, particularly when you're vacationing elsewhere, you're going to see elements of the Mass that you've never been
I love
a part
that
of.
part
That's
of
my
travel.
favorite part.
Yeah,
I've been
so
to churches in different languages that had no idea what was going on. Well, that's not true,
you
though.
do.
But you do, because the church is the same worldwide.
Yeah.
Certain practices might be a little different, timing, things like that. But it all counts.
It does.
That Eucharist is just as valid in Zimbabwe as it is in Delran. So,
Or the Jersey Shore.
Well, it's probably a little more special in the Jersey Shore, but yeah. The Jersey Shore has been is connected to Our Lady, and therefore, there's something special about it. Just saying, it's like Lourdes.
How?
Do you know that when you go into the water? Just kidding. I was going to go into make a Lourdes thing.
He's really having a hard time staying on topic today, is he not?
Oh,
Yeah, it's true.
he definitely.
I'm in a mood.
He is in a mood.
I think it was the Lords that got him impassioned.
Yeah.
I
I
guess.
think so.
I like the fact. Part of it is this is a department of a diocese, and I'm saying this any diocese, not our diocese, but this is a department of the diocese is out doing stuff, and that really energizes me. You know what doesn't energize me? People who don't do enough.
That sounds like a new podcast.
Right.
That does sound like a new podcast.
Speaking of when you're talking about your senior centers, I will say that around Super Bowl, I was following Vitality on social media, and I loved seeing the pictures that were being posted from the senior centers of all the seniors getting together and having Super Bowl parties.
Yeah, they have parties for anything.
They look
and
like
that was
a
a really
blast.
big, and that was, I know.
And I was just at home, like, watching it on TV with myself and Wings, and I was like, I think I need to get off this couch and go to the senior center because they look like they're having a freaking blast right
They
now.
really are. They have so much fun. And in fact, the senior day centers are awesome because they really have programmed like schedules. These directors are amazing. They have these schedules for every week, activities, speakers, outings. And they are doing so many fun things. Country line dancing is big now, or they're doing, it could be, and they do chair yoga and they do so many different activities. Very creative. It's like, what teachers need to do for their classrooms and engaging and, and similar, but very creative people. And then there's the ministries, and we're also in all the senior ministries in the diocese. So we're presenting and sharing our services there. And I go there and I'm just blown away at how many seniors are coming together, which is so good. And that's really what we're really, trying to, what Vitality is supporting all around. And then just to see that energy and, how happy they are. And it goes back to, the importance of social engagement versus social isolation and how healthy that is for all of them. But there's a lot of fun being out there.
It
And it kind of
is
like,
it.
I don't know. I think there's something to look forward to as we,
they all look
get
forward to
older.
it.
And to the point of we've certainly been talking a lot on this podcast about things that can be done, but Christine, you also have a newsletter you put out quarterly, I think. Roughly
I do.
And it's called
Life to the Fullest.
And if someone would like to get on the mailing list for that, they would reach out to you?
They could reach out to me.
And your email address is?
Christine.willard@camdendiocese.org.
There you go. And as the person who assists Christine on her newsletter, it is chock full of information and lots of and you get the events that are coming up and stuff like that. So it's a wonderful piece. I may or may not have thrown a few addresses on there, email addresses, personal email addresses of people who I think could benefit from
Thank
it.
you.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome, Mom.
Can you add my mom? Can you add my mom?
Sure. I'll just put it in one of the comment sections of our things, and it'll be fine. We'll get to your mom.
Man, he is on fire today, isn't he?
He's cracking himself up. I am inspired right now.
He is quite inspired.
You guys, I have to say, the three of you, I wasn't sure what to expect walking in this room, to tell you the truth, because you're all, women that I've had the opportunity to work with a lot now, and it's been a lot of fun. I'll tell you that right now. So I had no doubt that this was going to be a fun podcast. I had no idea how fun it would be, mostly for me. So this has been great. Thanks, everybody. I've been having a blast. This could be my last podcast ever because somebody's going to listen to this and go, okay, Mike needs to go see somebody.
It'll be my mother.
Your mother. There we go. I like your mom. I like her comments. They're great. Keep commenting, ma'am. You're doing a great job. It boosts our numbers.
Oh, yes. We're all about that.
Matt does the same thing. Nicole's husband, he's great with our social media accounts. I love that kind of stuff. And the best one of them all, well, I don't know about all, but our colleague Maria D'Antonio, her daughter is constantly posting and liking and stuff on our stuff, and I am so appreciative of a young woman looking at the stuff that we put out there and commenting and posting and liking and sharing.
Aww,
That's
she's so
wonderful.
sweet.
Give out
she's a
badges for
sweetheart.
that or something.
Yeah. Oh, we give out the badges on the Facebooks. Absolutely.
The Facebook.
That's absolutely heck yeah, we do.
The interwebs.
The head of communications just call it the Facebook.
The Facebooks. I do the TikToks. I do
Maybe
it
we
all.
should be doing some evaluation.
Well, it's funny. I was just talking to my staff about how we were going to be doing reviews soon, but I didn't mention whether or not I was going to get a review, so we'll see about that. But what? Listen, thank you for making this such a joyful podcast. I really appreciate that. We always like, you guys are welcome anytime. Christine, you don't have to come with Nicole. You can come on your own if you like, or something like that. Same, and vice versa. That's wonderful too. And to our other ministries, you guys can reach out and let us know when stuff's going on, and we'll have you on the podcast as well. And you know what? If you're in another diocese, heck yeah, we'll invite you on too.
There you go.
Sure, I'll let other dioceses. It's going to be as mean as I'm usually. So if they don't mind walking into the lion's mouth, that's fine by me.
It's a Lenten miracle.
It's a Lenten. Well,
But Emily from your other podcast is not allowed on.
It's because she's too sweet.
She's too
We appreciate all of the support and resources and all the support communications and Catholic Star Help give Vitality.
Yeah. And the added emails.
Yeah. And no
worries. We'll boost those numbers.
Numbers are numbers.
Well, to our listeners, thank you very much for listening and tuning in again. And we'll be back again next week with another episode. See you, everybody.